Yes, my jingle played. I think I figured out why it didn't play before, but still, I'm going to go ahead and say that last time was... No, it was my fault. It was my fault. I know what I did. I know what I did now. I didn't mean to do it. Anyway, welcome back. You are indeed listening to the Woe Pony podcast with Grace Clark. Something I've discovered is that these headphones, and I've been wearing them every week, are a bit too big for my head and they keep slipping off. Either that or my hair's really silky. That's not true. Maybe it's because the last couple of weeks I've been wearing a hat, which has been attacking the microphone, and then today I could be bothered to wash my hair. So, but I'm sure I've worn them before and they've not been this big. Public service announcement to anyone that works at the station listening.
Have you stretched the headphones?
Coming back to our topic of the week, it is workplace drama. I found some stories I want to share with you. Some of them are weird, bizarre. Some of them are outrageous. Because, of course, it wouldn't be the Woe Pony podcast without a bit of outrage. So let's go on to our part 2 stories for the evening. This first story, I've just... brushed over, given it a once over, and it's quite funny. It starts, when I was working at an embassy, I had a colleague who was convinced I was a Russian spy. We sat across from each other, so I would often catch her looking at me from behind her laptop screen. She also wouldn't let me touch the mail or go into specific areas of the embassy. She wouldn't even accept food from me. In fact, when my mother sent me cupcakes for my name day... What's a name day? I don't know. She demanded that they be x-rayed to see if there was anything inside. Another time, a colleague asked me to make a copy of a visa applicant's ID. When she saw me in the copy room, she yelled, "I knew it!" and kept asking me where I found that ID and what I was doing with it. She was lucky that I saw the humour in all this. I even greeted her in Russian every morning. Oh, that's funny. It's nice that you can keep that banter. That would drive me absolutely wild. But you've got to play on it. You've got to play on it. I mean, I know that you work for an embassy, so I can see the... But if she's really that worried, shouldn't she tell someone? Maybe she has. I don't know. Maybe she thought that she could spy on the spy. Like a Jane Bond. Okay, the next one says, I worked at a company where they had cameras, mics and speakers installed all over the place, even in the kitchen. If you spent 2 minutes extra at lunch, the wife of the business owner was screaming at you through the speakers. She would also get her manicures and pedicures done at the office, and afterwards would ask employees to empty the bucket she used to soak her feet in. Okay. All right then. Okie dokie. I mean, that's gross, obviously. Short but sweet. Our operations manager fell through the ceiling of the conference room. He wasn't invited to the meeting and he wanted to listen in.
Excuse me out there. You're born in a barn. Smashing the doors in a radio station.
Sorry, couldn't ignore that. Very The Office, Michael Scott, which is one of my favourite shows of all time. Next one is another short but sweet. It says, there's a jacket in the changing room at work that was in the exact same spot for about 10 years and it's vanished. People are going crazy. Yeah, I'd go crazy. 10 years. No one thought to move that. For a year, I can understand. If it was in my place of work, it would stay there for a year. But 10 years? And then it's vanished. Maybe it was never there. 2 of my co-workers have proposed to me in the last 2 weeks. Not a lot of people know, but the ones who do are invested in the drama, and it's hilarious. Doesn't sound very hilarious. I can't get one person to propose to me. You've got 2 in 2 weeks. Okay. I work in a law firm. The senior partner thought that the junior partner was sleeping with the secretary, but she was actually covering for the junior partner being gay. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Oh, well, that's nice that you were covering for them when they felt like they couldn't come out. Look at that, creating drama. Are you sleeping with the secretary? No, I'm actually a good person that's covering for someone. We've had our break room taken away. Okay, that's not great. I've been there many years, and this is at least the 5th break room they've taken away from us by repurposing them into something else. And yet somehow every time management is shocked that people are upset when the break room disappears. I mean, yes, of course they're going to be upset. Of course they're going to be upset. Colleagues, workers need a break room. Workers need breaks. They need a room to break in. Okay, let's go on to a couple more before we go on to one more song on the radio and then come to the end of our episode for this week. So this one says, oh, this one's a lot longer. One of the employees was having random Grindr hookups in the bathroom at work so his wife wouldn't find out. He would go missing for half an hour at multiple times a day. He's missing out on a lot of work. Half an hour is a long time. Multiple times a day. Oh my goodness. We watched the camera to figure out what he was doing. Over and over again, he would lead different guys into the bathroom. One day alone, we counted 6 different guys. We confronted him about it, was in the process of letting him go, and all of a sudden he grabs a pair of scissors and holds them to his throat, screaming about how we ruined his life and he's going to end it all. Little did he know that security was walking in behind him when he was going off. The security officer came up behind him in one motion, got the scissors, and was restraining the guy. We called the police and EMTs. They took him away, and about a month and a half later, he came back in claiming to have found Jesus. He and Jesus apparently prayed over it, and they believe he should get his job back. One of the higher-ups heard about it and said, when Jesus starts paying the payroll, then Jesus can decide who should work here. Okay, that story has a lot of layers, a lot of drama. That person doesn't sound very well, and I hope that they have got some support. Okay, let's go on to a short and sweet one before I end the show. This one says, I found out a potential candidate was fired from his previous job. Oh, this story, is from someone in recruitment. And they said, I found out a potential candidate for a job was fired from his previous job because he threw his boss into a dumpster. The dude was 6'5", so yes, he picked his boss up over his head and threw him into the dumpster. Sorry, I probably shouldn't laugh, but that's quite funny. That's quite funny. I think that is a wonderful place to end the show for today. Thank you very much for joining me today through the ups and downs, through my bursts of energy, through the system not working, through the tunes. If you're listening on the radio, thank you very much. Please follow me on the social medias at Wopony Podcast. Give the podcast a listen later if you missed part 1, if you're listening on the radio, or do whatever you want to do. Live your best life. And follow us on the TikTok as well. Exclusive clips on there. And night, mum.